what happens is that like everyone is telling the child to like look outside for yourself, like look outside beyond what you already have, and that makes the person or the child really confused, and he starts looking outside every sort of time. So he thinks that happiness is outside. So there are a few dark facts which arise up with these with the child. Example is that we are miserable creatures. So what do you think about it? Like, do you really think that we are miserable creatures or not? Like, and why we are miserable creatures if people are telling us to?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I don't believe that
I see. Yeah,
because
you
I
please.
believe, but I think that we get so out of touch with who we really are.
Yeah,
Because we are always chasing after something else of trying to make happiness that we lose touch of who we are on the
and it
inside.
never ends, right?
Never ends.
Why so? Because people are all telling us that, oh, you have this. What now? Like you have married. Oh, you now you should get a son or a
Yeah.
daughter. What now?
And then you gotta buy a house, and then you gotta do this, and you
Got to
need
do
to,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And then if you don't do those things,
then you're not conforming with the
right, and
society,
now
right?
there's something wrong with you,
With
or you
you,
think that there is, but
something wrong.
it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that
Yeah.
there is.
So I mean, as you said, you don't completely agree with the fact that we are miserable creatures, but yeah, there is some
We're
sort of
taught to be.
we are taught to be. Oh, good one, good one. Yeah. So uh, these are a few facts, and let me just give you one more example. Like we are done with the class now. Let's say I take you to this monument. I tell you about its history and all that, and after a while I tell you that, hey, have you seen the new iPhone 16 Pro? And then you'll be like, yeah, no, I haven't seen it. Then out of nowhere I take you to an Apple store and I tell you, hey, there's the new Apple 16 Pro. And then you'll be like, hey, I have a phone, I don't need this. And then I'll be like, okay, then I'll take you to a new monument. And then I tell you about the monument, then I take you to a Xiaomi store and I tell you, hey, there's a new Xiaomi phone, really good phone, Pro Max. And then you'll be like, is he a bit crazy? Like, why is he doing this? And then I take you to another monument, then I take you to another Vivo store and I tell you that, hey, this is the new Vivo X6 Pro Max, the best camera phone. Then you'll be like, are you a bit crazy? Why are you doing this? Then I take you to another one, then I take you to a Samsung store. The fourth time, the mind will come up with the thought that maybe I should change my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, or can I really afford this phone? Oh, I see people having two phones in India. I think I should also have two phones. So you do get it right. People have a quality that if they say you things again and again, it puts a thought in your mind that maybe you're not enough. Maybe what you have is not enough. You want more. So that is one of the
And
main.
then that becomes the little voice in your own head telling you that.
Exactly. So as we were talking about the very mind, like Jennifer's mind, for example, there are like a lot of voices, a lot of commentaries coming up. Hey Jennifer, you should do it like this. Hey Jennifer, maybe you shouldn't do it like that. Hey Jennifer, I mean, there's a dark side as well. There's a good side as well. Of course, where the balance is, that's what matters. But yeah, there are like a lot of voices in the head. But if you know the right thing and if you're like really good with the practice, then you'll of course choose the right thing. And yeah. Okay, so these are a few dark facts which I just mentioned, that we are miserable creatures in a way. People keep telling us that this, to do that. Third fact is also that once you get the object of happiness, um, it's not relevant anymore, right? I mean, once you achieve it, it stays for a while, and it just like the happiness vanishes, and then you have to like chase again to a new thing. So, uh, what do you think that why does that happen? That if you want something and you achieve it, like you've come to India,
Yeah.
now you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have it. I am in India. Now what?
What next?
But a week back or maybe 2 days back, you were very excited about India. Oh wow, India and stuff. So what's up with those happiness, and like how do you compare this happiness with a very permanent happiness? Like what do you think about it? Like what can a person be happy with permanently? What do you think about that?
Like how to become permanently happy?
Yeah, there's one way in the Gita they say that you should become desireless in a way. Of course, if you become completely desireless, then you can't grow as well, right?
Right.
But in the Gita, they also say that, I mean, Krishna says that whatever work you do, don't get attached to the fruits of
Right.
it.
It's
You,
that
that's a famous
attachment.
one. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Of
attachment.
like, don't be attached to what the outcome is.
I mean, even if like there's a classic example which we can give for you. You were supposed to come 6 hours early, like in India, but the flight was late, right?
No, not
You were
too
supposed to
late.
come at 12 in the night. Was it like fixed? I thought you had a delayed flight. I thought that.
Oh,
I mean,
what?
I thought
No,
the
it was. I mean, slightly delayed, but we got in just. And we were scheduled to land at 12:05.
okay,
We
okay,
maybe
then it's
left like
fine.
12:30.
Then it's fine.
Yeah.
Like for example, people have a delayed flight or like they have to wait it out and all that. But in the mind, it comes oh, like that sort of like sensation comes that oh, why do I have to wait? Why this? Why that? But some people like who practice yoga and they have acceptance, they will feel that maybe this is right. Maybe God wants this to happen.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
acceptance happening
it
up, right?
was funny because I did almost miss the flight to
Oh
come here
really?
in London. Like I was this
Close.
and I'm at the security and I'm getting held up and I feel myself starting to get. I'm like I'm gonna miss my yoga class and I was like, I just let it go. And I was like,
Look, you made
it
it.
is what it is.
You
And
made it.
I can't change anything that's gonna happen right now. I can change how I feel about it. So and I just tried to keep myself calm and I made
Absolutely.
it.
That's really great. You made it, right? So yeah, so that's one of the classic things about the very child example and about the very attachment example. So yeah, coming back towards the very practice of yoga. Now there's a historical part of yoga that which we call a mythical part of yoga, in which the gods and the deities are like there present, and one is the very like prominent history about yoga, like the very evidence and the very factual ones. So you know, India was ruled by the British, right? You know that, right? Of course. Even USA was ruled by the British, but the people like took them out, the 13 colonies, right? Yeah. Actually, we used to stay in Maryland. Like I did my kindergarten and my first grade from there.
Oh really?
Yeah, in Silver Spring. So have you been to Maryland
I
before?
have.
Oh really? Okay. It's like near Washington D.C., right?
Yes.
Quite near.
Yes,
Yeah.
very close.
Yeah. So what was I talking about? Uh, yeah, about the very what was I talking about exactly?
We were saying that now I lost it too.
Before Maryland.
Why did you say that you're
Oh,
right
the
now?
history of
Yes,
yoga.
the history.
The
yes.
Britishers, yeah.
The British. That's
Yeah.
how we got there.
Yeah, so basically, the Britishers were in India and they excavated a few places, which is now Pakistan and the very northern part of India, and they found a few like seals. Seals mean like a big tablet in which like there's a person who is in an advanced yoga pose. Even I can't do that one. That's like really advanced. He's putting his ankles like this over here, and he's sitting like in a very advanced yoga pose. And there are like a few more like relics they found that, and when they did the carbon dating, it was like 2500 BC, so like 5000 years from now. And they also found a few books. The books which I'm gonna mention has a few segments about the whole thing in this thing, so you're gonna read about it. Those are called Yoga Sutras.
Yes,
So
I've heard of yoga.
very good,
sutras.
very good. And have you
My
heard of
one teacher talks about them all the time.
You have a good teacher then, absolutely.
She also does a Mysore class every Thursday, which I
Ashtanga.
haven't done yet. But I do her regular class, which is Ashtanga, but she does a separate Mysore class.
I'm really happy that you're
Yeah.
connected with all this. Yeah, like you know stuff. It really feels good when a person doesn't know
I'm
about it.
trying. That's
Yeah.
why I'm here to learn more.
Yeah. So Patanjali was the very saint, we can say, or the very seer. Seer are people who can see beyond. Once you do these practices, you can see beyond. That's why I told you about disease and all that. Even you can sense people's like stuff and all that. Anyways, or people who are highly intuitive as well. Yeah. So he was a seer, and he wrote the very sutra. So sutra means like it literally means a thread, but since I'm learning Sanskrit now, sutra is a way to put a huge sort of a thing, like a huge paragraph, in a very small passage. Like the very first sutra of yoga or Patanjali is called uh, Atha Yoga Anushasanam means like now yoga begins. Atha means now it begins. The second one is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. These are like really important sutras, and the first it has 214 these lines of sutras, and they're like all techniques we were gonna talk about over here. But the initial three ones are the whole gist of the whole thing. If you understand the first three, then it's done. I'll recommend you a few books because Patanjali Yoga Sutras, many people have written commentaries on it. Of course, you have to write a commentary because people take it in a different way. Like, there's one German person, his name is Max Muller. He wrote commentaries on a lot of like Indian stuff, but when we read about it, we can't connect to it because there are some words in Sanskrit they don't have any meaning in English. So now I'm going to give you an example. So the second sutra is called Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the calming down of the very mind complex. Not mind. Mind is the mind. That is a different thing. Chitta doesn't have a English word, so now I have to tell you the meaning of chitta. Our person, like the very person who teaches us, tells us it's called mind complex. So mind complex includes your mind, which has things, the very intellect, the very things how you solve stuff, the very intellectual part, the very logical part of the brain. It also has samskaras. Now, this is a new term for you, samskaras. If you tell this term to your teacher